or false, and you guys are going to give us a thumbs up if you think what's on the screen is true, and a thumbs up if you think what is up there is false.
So thumbs up, true, thumbs down, false. Okay. A college's ranking is not a predictor of the quality of its undergraduate education. Thumbs up if you think this is true, thumbs down if you think it's false. So what's the answer? True. So I think we have all heard of a little something called U.S. News and World Report, right? So they created a survey that gets sent out to all of the colleges in the U.S., sent to enrollment management leaders, sent to presidents and provosts, and they actually have to rate their peer institutions based on a number of different factors. So research expenditures, endowments, graduation rates, retention rates. So if you think about it, I'll put this in terms that we can understand since we're in Florida. You work for the University of Florida, and you're being asked to rate FSU. There's going to be some bias there, right? So a lot of opinion, understanding of peer institutions comes into play in terms of ranking an institution. I came from the college side, and I could tell you the question I always hated was, what is your ranking number? There's a lot of really great institutions that are out there beyond top 30, top 40. So keep that in mind, that there is quite a bit of bias in this process. And colleges are actually starting to reject this system. Columbia University, which I'm sure you all have heard of, no longer participates in this survey. So that's a big indicator. They did not feel it was an accurate reflection of their school or their student experience there. Okay, here's another great one. Applying with an undecided major hurts a student's chances of admissions, and it is false. The stat we like to share is that 84% of students will change their major at some point. I myself changed my major twice. I was a triple major at one point and decided I need to have a life, so that's probably not a great idea. I know Mrs. Lupa shared that she changed her major as well. It's absolutely normal. College is a time where students are wanting to experience new things and wanting to explore, and universities are encouraging of that. They want students to come in with a broad range of interests. They don't want them to sort of put themselves into one box. And many of them have advisors and support services specifically for undecided or exploratory students.
Okay, folks, what do you think? The more packed a student's resume is, the better. The answer is false. Jack of all trades, master of none, anybody? You do not want to look like you are doing everything and you have no leadership skills. Whereas if you have a few areas you excel in, pursue those. Those freshman parents in the audience, we strongly recommend that is the time to be exploratory. Try all the clubs, find what you're good at. Sophomore year, grow a little bit. Figure out maybe you want to run for a position. Junior year, VP, president, treasurer, something of that nature. Show them that you're enthusiastic. You are taking on responsibility. And senior year, you are going to be leading the charge and planning for the next group rising behind you. There is no need to be super pointy or extremely well-rounded. I know that was a really popular phrase a few years ago. It is important for them to be authentic and to follow their heart. Students with perfect grades, test scores, and legacy may not get into their dream college. It is very, very true. Every year without fail, unfortunately, my lovely, perfect 1,600 SAT students with straight A's put on some of the most highly rejective colleges on their list, and without fail, they are unfortunately not chosen regardless of how awesome they are. What I recommend is that when you go on college tours and you look at schools, go visit those likely schools. Go visit those possible schools. Show them an array of what's out there, because sometimes it's those hidden gems that really surprise you.
So a student should only ask for a letter of recommendation from a teacher who gave them an A. True or false? Awesome, we got a lot of falses. If you have an amazing student, teacher one says, Johnny did his homework, Johnny came to class, Johnny participated, Johnny was wonderful. What is teacher B gonna say? Johnny came to class, Johnny participated, Johnny was wonderful. It's really interesting. It gives them a lot more context. If it's a subject that the student maybe doesn't like, that doesn't come easy to them, and then how are they reacting to those struggles. Are they going in for extra help? Are they participating? Are they sitting in the front of the class? Did they not do well on their first test? Did they pull it out? So it tells a whole story. It talks about a little bit more about resilience than just they were amazing. There's not a lot more to say for a teacher for that. Is it always better to send your standardized testing, your SAT, your ACT, to a college? True or false? What do you guys think? All right, so kids come to me all over the time with their standardized testing and say, my mom says, my dad says, that I have to send my score. The colleges now have kind of parted ways. Those that have stayed test optional. That means as part of my application, I do not need to submit my scores. They are truly committed to being test optional. So straight up, we sit with every student, every application, every test score, and kind of play over-under. If you're above their 50th percentile of who they accepted last year, not 2 years ago, last year, we send the scores. If you're below, we absolutely do not send the scores. So it's crazy. We'll sit with kids who have 1550s, and they're applying to, as Maya said, one of those highly rejective schools, and their average might be a 1560, and we say, no, don't send them. And they're like, but what do you mean? That's an amazing, it's crazy. Because what has happened with test optional is if your score is not 98 percentile, students are not sending them to some of these schools. So what used to be a more average SAT score has gone through the roof. So we do work with the kids a lot on whether to send them or not.
Okay, so somewhat related, applying early decision, or ED, always increases the chances of acceptance. So what's the answer? False. So early decision is a contract that a student will enter into. It's beneficial for the university because the university knows, if I admit this kid, they're coming. I can plan on them enrolling. It's an indicator for the student to show that university, you are my top choice. But that agreement does not mitigate or cancel out a test score that's below that competitive average, a GPA that's below the competitive average. So it's a great strategy to incorporate as long as you have some of those other factors or data points that match. Families may have to pay the full sticker price of a college, true or false? So this one is true. I think one of the questions that we most commonly get is, what kind of scholarships am I going to get? A lot of Trinity students assume because they're the best and the brightest, they're going to automatically get some form of a scholarship, and that's not always the case. Ivies do not award merit aid, so just let that sink in. So if you're applying to a highly rejective, you're not guaranteed a merit-based, you are not guaranteed a merit-based scholarship. I would recommend that you all become familiar with a tool called the net price calculator. Universities are required to have them available on the financial aid page. Most university admissions offices will send you there under the financial piece. But essentially, you can put in your current financial information and get a sense of what your son or daughter might pay, or what you might pay, to send them to that college. So you might get a sense of, will they get grants, any kind of scholarships? Will they give me aid based on my current finances? And if you're in SCORE, which I think ninth grade parents, you should have access to it after or just before our ninth grade college night, you can actually go in and look at your son or daughter's college list, and it will give you links directly to those net price calculators for the schools that are on their current list.
College admissions officers are looking up applicants on social media. True or false? It is true. If your son or daughter has started a business, they're going to check it out. If they are posting things on Instagram, they might go find you. Just because you have a different handle does not mean that they cannot figure out who you are. And it is very important that if they haven't monetized and socialized the good that they're doing, maybe they should consider a positive online presence. That can only work in their favor, as that's been added as a line in a lot of college applications. Do you hold an online presence? And they allow them to hyperlink it. So it could be LinkedIn, it could be a website, it could be something else. So with admission rates dropping, it's difficult to get admitted to college. False. 70% of students get into 70% of colleges. There are plenty of colleges that would happily take your sons and daughters. There are admissions rates dropping in a very small, select few universities. There are so many colleges, not only in the United States, but all over the world, and your students are not limited to where they apply, unless you say so.